Alive on the Mounjaro. It's on the pen alive with your host David Knapp.
You clap track and happy Thursday night. Welcome to On the Pen Live. I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That is why I am here. And you, presumably, are on the pen, the GLP-1 pen. Wegovy, Saxenda, Victoza, Mounjaro, liraglutide, semaglutide, dulaglutide, all the utides. That's why you're here. And we're all here to learn. We're all here to share. We're all here to enjoy each other's company and just enjoy community. The community is the best part of what goes on here. And I'm so glad to be back with you. It warms my heart every Thursday night to be with you here at 9 p.m. Central, rain or shine. So welcome. Thank you all for joining. It's good to have you all here. The chat is already booming, so it's good to have you all here. Welcome, especially to those of you who are members of the stream. Sue, Terrence, Carla, Miss Tatman, Julie, Abby, Chrissy, who's moderating tonight along with Sue the Dude, Miss Tatman. Oh, I see Mimi's here. Awesome. Welcome to the members of the stream, and welcome to those of you who are subscribers and supporters of everything that we do here. We've got a great show for you tonight. As every week we do, we've got several segments that we do on the show. But before we get too deep into it, I want to welcome everybody who is over here from TikTok. If you are over here from TikTok, which has grown by leaps and bounds in the last month, Chrissy drugged me kicking and screaming over to TikTok. She said, you have to be on TikTok. I said, I don't know about TikTok. And so I've been over there for about a month. We're almost to as many speaking in tongues tonight. We are almost to as many subscribers healed. We are to almost as many subscribers over on TikTok as we are here on YouTube, which is just amazing. So thank you for those of you who are following there and who have followed the journey over to On the Pen Live. One day we're going to be able to stream over there, but we can't stream this over there. So until we can, it's over here. PMAC, welcome. I know that that's a TikTok name. If you are here from Chrissy, natural born influencer, absolutely. She is. She's got what it takes for sure. So yeah, if you're over here from TikTok, let me know. But we've got a couple new members here this week too. New members of the channel, Daphne, Sierra, and just before we came on, Terrence. So thank you for joining Daphne, Sierra, and Terrence. Thank you for becoming members of the channel and supporting and giving back in that way to what I do here at On the Pen. It's such a pleasure. You too can become a member and take advantage of the custom emojis and the fun little live, like we did a live stream while I was getting ready before we came on here. Have done several live streams, just for the members and some exclusive content as well. So yeah, if you want to become a member and join, you can do that very easily just by clicking the link in the description that says to join the channel. If you're on an Android, it's a little bit easier. You can just click join right under this video. But we would love to have you as part of the community. Thank you for those of you who are already doing that. So it is a pleasure. And one of the things that we talked about last week is that On the Pen Live is brought to you every week by On the Pen Marketing. You can visit onthepenmarketing.com. Onthepenmarketing.com is my marketing company that I do in conjunction with my mother, who is retired and, frankly, looking for work. So I've been doing marketing now for about 12, 13 years. She's been doing it her whole life. And we've got just a different approach. So I hope you'll check out On the Pen Marketing, learn a little bit more about what that's all about. That is what is going to continue to keep this thing cranking along. So thank you for those of you who have already checked that out. It is a pleasure to be able to do that and bring that to you. And so if you're a small business owner or know somebody who's a small business owner and they could use some help, right here. So yeah, that's what I got for the welcome. And so last week we introduced a new segment. Does anybody remember what it was? Anybody remember what that new segment was called? It was called
Housekeeping.
You want mint for pillow? Okay, housekeeping. So there's a couple things. First thing being, every week, you know the drill. I got a 10 milligram shot here. And whoever wants to pick where this is going to go this week, biggest super chat of the night gets to choose. So thank you for those of you who have participated in the past. You're putting my kids through college. Appreciate all of you. Second housekeeping thing. Yeah. Oh, who called it? Julio. Awesome. Way to be on it. Oh, Judy from Royal Angel Creations. Welcome. Thank you for coming over. Retatrutide. Ayo said, can you say Retatrutide right quick? Retatrutide. Retatrutide. Okay. And so here's the other thing for the members, as promised, I got locked out of my account, my Stride Kick account. And so after much toil and heartache, if you are a member, you can go to the community tab, look at my post. There is a link where you can join the next members only Stride Kick challenge. So check that out, members. Whew, this is going by quick. It's going by quick. We're already to what's fresh. But before we do, I'm going to take a moment. My computer's going to take a moment and freeze up and send me 30 alerts. That's not ever what you want to see in the middle of a live stream. Deliza, howdy. How you doing? How you doing? But I just want to say welcome to some of the names I see. Deliza, Sue, who is moderating tonight. Sue with a new Fitbit joined. Excited to have you. Vanessa, welcome. Retatrutide, Retatrutide, Retatrutide. And Judy, Royal Angel Creations from TikTok. Ayo. Miss Tapman, Chrissy, Brian. Awesome to have you here. PMAC, Emmy, Miss Tapman, Matthew. Matthew's had some really interesting insight. Matthew, I'm excited to hear what you have to say tonight. Always got an interesting take, to say the least. Julio, Cheryl, Terrence, Sue, Derek, Sherry, welcome. It's so good to have you all. Thank you all for joining tonight. You truly are the best part of what I do over here at Man on the Mounjaro. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into it tonight. But before we do, I'm going to lay out the rest of the show for you. We're going to talk about what's fresh, because we always do that. We're going to take out the trash because it's Thursday night. And then we're going to have BJ Davis. BJ Davis is the proprietor of bjdavisdiscord.com, the best place on the internet where all the most interesting conversations about GLP-1s happen on the entire internet. That's davisdiscord.com. If you're afraid of Discord, if you've never used it, if you don't know what to expect, we're going to tell you a little bit more about it tonight, because we would love to have you over there contributing to the conversation. If Discord really isn't your thing, and if you're not going to be drug kicking and screaming over to Discord, you can jump over to Facebook, where I have a group called On the Pen with Man on the Mounjaro. So join our Facebook group. There's lots of ways to connect. OnThePen.com is another way to connect. You can become a member over there. There's a forum over there. There's blog posts. There's tons of ways to be connected, folks. There's no reason not to be connected right now, because we have plenty of avenues. And so we're excited to have BJ Davis on tonight to talk a little bit about his Discord, his journey. And he has let me know that he is willing to take some calls tonight at 1-833 Tirzepatide. That's 1-833-847-9372. That's 833, not 800, 833 Tirzepatide. So make sure that you check that out. BJ's also over here on YouTube, and all the links are in the description of this video. Matter of fact, if you go to onthepen.com, in my social buttons, there's a button for the Discord. So all you have to do is click that button at onthepen.com, and it'll take you right to BJ's Discord. But yeah, that's what we got. So we're going to jump right into it. We are going to talk tonight about some interesting topics. So let's get going. What's fresh in the world of GLP-1s? Well, as it turns out, there's a lot to cover here. So I'm going to try to do it. We're going to try to get through this together. The first thing we're going to talk about, I'm retired as a new member. Hey, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Appreciate it. It's good to have you here. So Wegovy's in shortage. We already know that Wegovy is in a official FDA shortage. The 0.25 and the 1, I believe, are the two entry-level doses. But those are the ones that are currently in shortage, I believe. I get it twisted up with Ozempic sometimes, but it's the two early doses. We got some information today that was really, really interesting. They gave us a little bit of insight, and thank you to Sue the Dude, one of the moderators of this channel, for kind of keying me into this article. But one of the very interesting things is that Wegovy or Novo Nordisk has a supplier that fills the injector pens. So their job is to take the semaglutide and fill the injector pens with the semaglutide. Well, this company, as it turns out, failed some FDA inspections at the end of 2022. And what ultimately happened is the FDA allowed them to stay open, but this put them way behind the eight ball because they had to correct and mitigate some serious issues that they had in their plant. Now, because the FDA didn't feel that these issues posed an immediate threat to those that were using Wegovy, they allowed manufacturing to continue while they mitigated these issues. But this mitigation stuff basically slowed down production. So that was one facet of this shortage that we can kind of look to and go, okay, well, we can kind of see what's going on here. So very interesting information. The two lower doses remain in shortage, and the other ones are kind of like Mounjaro in that they're hard to find. So yeah, and Great Scott's here. He said, hey, Health Innovations Kansas City in the house. Our clinics has Tirzepatide in stock for Missouri and Kansas residents. So yeah, check them out. Health Innovations. Good to have you here, Great Scott. Yeah, so very interesting stuff on Wegovy. Now with Mounjaro, some big news came out with Mounjaro this week as far as the Mounjaro shortages go. So Lilly updated the FDA. Kind of interesting here. Lilly said basically status quo for the 12.5 and the 15. Those are still going to be in shortage until the end of July. But what kind of took me by surprise was that they added 7.5 to that, which wasn't new. I mean, there were enough people I heard that were having troubles with 7.5, including myself for the last 2 months. So they said 7.5 will also be in shortage until the end of July. Well, what kind of threw me is that I've been able to get the 10 milligram, and many people have been able to get the 10 milligram, but they extended the 10 milligram shortage to the end of September. So the 10 milligram is going to get increasingly harder to find. And if you don't understand how all this works, I do have a video in one of my playlists about how the distribution works. But basically you have the manufacturer, which is Lilly, and then you have the wholesalers, like think McKesson. They're one of the more popular wholesalers. They're the ones that the pharmacies buy from. So if the pharmacy, who isn't going to keep very much of this stuff in stock because it's expensive and it has to be refrigerated, they've got to get their stuff from the wholesalers. The wholesaler has to have it. So these shortages are happening at the manufacturing level. So it takes a little bit of time for that to trickle down to every pharmacy. So just something to keep in mind, that you know the supply chain kind of works from the manufacturing down, and there's a lag in how quickly it hits the consumer, and then on the back end, when the supply is restored, there's kind of a lag in how quickly it hits the consumer as well. So just be aware of those things and kind of how that works, and that'll kind of help you navigate and understand what's going on with that. Now, here is some really interesting information. So today, Lilly released some really interesting information. So 2 studies that were being done on Tirzepatide for those battling obesity. So this was the Surmount-3 and the Surmount-4 trials. And sorry, I'm going to bring this over here so it doesn't look like I'm staring off into outer space. So the Surmount-3 and the Surmount-4, we're going to talk about this for a second because it's super, super interesting. These are studies that were both done with people with obesity without type 2 diabetes. So these are just people with obesity. So let's talk about the first one and what they found out there because it's very interesting. So in this Surmount-3 study, what they did is they did 12 weeks of a lead-in. So before they started giving anybody any medication, there was 12 weeks where everybody got this controlled calorie deficit diet with doctor supervision and with coaching, right? So everybody received that. And that was a 12-week lead-in period where participants lost an average of 6.9% of their body weight. Okay, so they all do a 3-month lead-in, restricted calories, doctor supervision, weight loss coaching. Okay, so everybody reaches about 7% roughly weight loss on average. So then after that 12 weeks ended, they started a 72-week treatment period with some being on tirzepatide and some being on placebo. So it was double blind, randomized. Nobody knew if they were getting Mounjaro or if they were getting placebo, right? So over this time, people on the tirzepatide lost an additional 21.1% of their body weight compared to the placebo group. So 94% of the people, this is the key point in this study, 94% of people taking tirzepatide achieved an additional weight reduction of at least 5%. So 94.4% of people that were on tirzepatide lost at least another 5% over that 72 weeks, while only 10% in the placebo group achieved the same. So those are interesting results. But this SURMOUNT-4 study was the one with a little bit more compelling information, right? So this was a 36-week open label, meaning everybody took Mounjaro for 36 weeks. Everybody got the same thing. And then it was followed by a 52-week randomized double-blind study. So where, again, half of the participants received Mounjaro and half of them received placebo. So they all, for 36 weeks, took Mounjaro. And then for 52 weeks, some of them took Mounjaro and some of them got placebo. During the 36 weeks, participants lost an average of 21% of their body weight on tirzepatide. That's pretty dang good in 36 weeks, because you remember it was like the highest was about 22% on average over the 72 weeks in the SURMOUNT either 1 or 2 trial, one of the initial trials that they did. So after 36 weeks, patients lost an average of 21% in the double blind period. So going on after that, where some received placebo and some received Mounjaro, the people who took tirzepatide lost an additional 6.7% of their body weight. So they almost got to about 28% of their body weight, the people who continued on tirzepatide, compared to those on placebo. And get this, who regained almost 15% of their body weight at 88 weeks. So that is super, super compelling information that kind of just goes to cement a couple of things that we already know and we've already talked about on this channel. A, when you take these GLP-1 incretin medicines for weight loss, they are probably for life. Why is that? Because obesity is a chronic disease, right? Just like diabetes, obesity is a chronic disease, something that requires intervention for most people for life. And the other thing that it tells us is that, 15% of people who just stop it, like presumably some of those people continued on in the lifestyle that they were leading with, calorie restriction, and they still gained it back. These peptides are doing something that, ultimately when they're removed, it just, no matter what you do, you're going to gain some weight back. So we probably are going to be on these for life to maintain. And so the insurance companies probably cringe at this. But, the good news is that these are polypeptides, long chain amino acids, stimulating the production of natural hormones. And what you have to understand about obesity, and I shared a short on this a while back last week. Make sure you go back and check it out with Matt Endo. What people don't understand about obesity and metabolic disease is that when you're suffering from obesity or metabolic disease, you are likely facing massive dysregulation in your gut hormones. And one of the things that these GLP-1s do, these incretin medicines, okay, so incretins are the umbrella that all of these medicines we talk about here are under. Anything we call a GLP-1 is actually an incretin, because GLP-1 is an incretin hormone. It is a hormone made in your gut responsible for helping you feel full, helping delay gastric emptying, and we're going to get to a conversation about that. Helpful for stimulating your pancreas to make more insulin when you need it, and helpful for regulating the amount of sugar that your liver makes. Did you know that your liver makes sugar? It does. And that's why diabetics, especially when you wake up in the morning, your sugar spikes. Did you eat any sugar? Did you eat anything at all? No. your liver makes sugar. And so one of the ways that these incretin hormones act on your liver is by reducing the amount of sugar that it makes, requiring less insulin, ultimately making you more insulin resistant over time because your body's making less of it. And not to get on too much of a high horse, but when your body has tons of insulin floating around, it's very difficult and nearly impossible for people to lose weight, especially the higher the levels of insulin. Why? Because insulin's sole job in life is to pack away energy. That's what gaining weight is. It's packing away energy. And that's what insulin's sole purpose is. And over time, when your liver's producing excess amount of sugars, you're taking in extra sugars from your diet, your body just becomes kind of numb to the insulin, requiring your body to make more of it. And this ultimately leads to type 2 diabetes in a lot of people, especially those who are genetically predispositioned for it. So, Sue, thanks for the super chat. And yes, the folks who gained weight are pregnant with Dwayne Johnson's baby. That is a proven fact. So one of the things anecdotally that I'll share just about my own journey is that I have been on Mounjaro now for 9 months. And those of you who know my story know that I titrated down a little bit. But I had my insulin levels checked about 2 weeks ago. And prior to Mounjaro, I was type 2 diabetic for a year. I had the diagnosis for a year. I was on strict keto. During that strict year of keto, I controlled my A1C down to pretty normal levels, but my insulin levels were still off the chart. After 9 months on Mounjaro, my insulin levels have dropped into the within normal range. They're at the high end of normal, but you can see it's working on those metabolic issues that I was dealing with, like the liver producing too much sugar, and helping to reduce the baseline amount of insulin that it takes to keep my blood sugar low. Because Mounjaro, GLP-1s are not insulin. They don't by themselves bring your sugars down. They stimulate your pancreas to make more insulin, which brings your sugar down. So very, very interesting studies, very, very interesting information. Wanted to share that all with you tonight because I think this is very, very compelling as Mounjaro, Eli Lilly continues to make the case with the FDA for weight loss approval, and just for those who are suffering with the metabolic disorder. So with that said, how y'all doing tonight? Eliza, how do they check insulin level if you take insulin still? That's a difficult one to tell. I mean, so theoretically, they're going to know how much insulin you make. Now, when you take an insulin test, and most people have to ask their doctor for it, it's not something that is commonly done in medical practice. But the reality is it's a fasting test. And when you're fasting, you just really shouldn't be making that much insulin. But if you're taking it, theoretically, you know how much you're taking, so that should be factored into the test. But I couldn't answer that completely because I'm not a medical doctor. That is a question for your doctor, but I would really advocate for those of you who are not diabetic, but you're like losing weight slower than you would anticipate, or especially slower than the clinical trials, maybe explore getting that insulin checked. I think that can be very helpful for some people. So that is what I got about that. So right now we got a $5 super chat. So Sue is choosing where the 10 milligram goes. So thank you, Sue, for that super chat. Appreciate you. It's good to hear from all you. Welcome, Anna. Good to have you here tonight. Hope that the What's Fresh was helpful information for you tonight. Now I have something really exciting for you that I went to a little extra work for you today, and I want you to listen up closely here. So we talk a lot on this channel about accessibility and people who are losing access to Mounjaro, people who are losing access to semaglutide. Here's something that's very cool that I've done for you. If you go into the description of this video and you scroll all the way to the bottom of the description, I have a link to a search. And what that search is it's all of the clinical trials that are currently going on for Tirzepatide. And it's all of the trials that are currently seeking participants. So a lot of those are going to exclude people who are on GLP-1 currently. So just know that right off the bat. But if you are, off it for a while and they are looking for people to join, just make sure you click that link. I mean, you may be able to get on Mounjaro. Obviously, you're going to roll the dice because you could end up in a placebo group. But there's even one study that's being done right now with semaglutide versus Mounjaro. So you're either going to get Wegovy or you're going to get Mounjaro. So check that out. I've done the work for you. It's in the link at the bottom of the description of this video. Check it out. You have to be clean for in days before clinical trial. I don't know. I think you meant to 90 days. Yeah. Okay. 90 days. So that makes sense. I don't know if it's that way for all of them or if some of them just some of them do, I think, just completely exclude people who have taken a GLP-1 before. But yeah. So thank you for that information, Matthew. Check them out. Check them out. So I hope that's helpful information for you tonight. And I'm going to move on. We're going to keep this thing rolling and we are going to talk about some fake news. So on Thursday nights, we take out the trash with the fake news. What is the fake news this week? Well, there's a couple things that have floated around this, and I want to be delicate with these topics because it's not as if this is like completely fake news, but it's completely overblown in the media. So two things that came out this week. One is that the European or the United Kingdom is expanding their probe into this idea of people taking GLP-1s having suicidal ideation or self-harm ideation. So as you may remember from my reporting last week and a couple weeks ago, I did a video on it. Really what came down to was two people who reported this. And now it's setting off the alarm bells in the United Kingdom. So one of the things that you have to look at in the United Kingdom is just the way their healthcare system is set up. And, you know, they've already said no to Mounjaro for weight loss, which is just crazy. You know, the bottom line is their healthcare system doesn't want to pay for these medications. So you have to understand that there's something to be gained by fear mongering a bit. Now, that's not to brush this aside completely and say that it's nothing, because certainly with two people reporting, there are probably others who haven't. But correlation does not equal causation necessarily. And so this has come out, and then CNN came out with an article. Creamy, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here, Jen. Did you get your pin? The other thing that came out was about gastroparesis, right? So what is gastroparesis? Basically like where the muscles in your stomach become paralyzed and they can't move the food through your stomach properly. So food sits in your stomach and it begins to rot, causes some issues for people. Now, you may know, if you watch this channel, you've probably heard me say 1,000 times, these medications are designed to, what's one of the mechanisms? Delay gastric emptying. So in theory, gastroparesis is kind of happening by design with GLP-1s. They delay gastric emptying. It makes you feel full for longer. So real gastroparesis would be something that persists. So this food sitting in your stomach that persists after you stop taking a GLP-1. And there have been two people that have reported this happening. So it's hard to say whether you can correlate this to their GLP-1 use or whether they were predispositioned for this anyway, because that is a thing, or whether, you know, maybe somehow the GLP-1 medication like ramped up the process for them. We won't know. Is it something to watch? Absolutely. But I've seen about 5 or 6 media outlets pick this up, and they're very fear-mongering headlines, making people think if they take a GLP-1 that their guts are going to break. Again, these are long-chain polypeptides, very, very safe profile if you look at the clinical trials. And the people taking these medications, you know, generally do not deal with these issues in a real serious way. Now, should they watch it? Probably. Let's keep an eye on it. Always. If people are reporting these things, keep an eye on it. Is it a reason to stop taking GLP medications for most people? No, but these articles would lead you to believe these. So very interesting. So thank you all for joining. I see some new names in the chat. If you're over here from TikTok tonight, let us know. It would be good to hear from you. Thank you for those who have become members and those who are members who have joined tonight. So that's what I got for the fake news this week. Just watch. I mean, we've been talking about it a lot on this channel for months and months and months. We've said what? The media is going to continue to demonize this. The second we saw things come out about Ozempic face, we knew that wasn't going to be the end of it. We knew there was going to be more. And there has been. What is is the impetus behind it? What is the motivation behind it? I can't really say. I mean, Big Pharma has their, they you can't really watch a news program without seeing an article or a news commercial for a Big Pharma company. So, I don't know. I can't really posit what it is, but there's clicks. I think clicks is the big thing. People click on things that are sensational. They know there are a lot of people taking these medications now, and clicks sell. So if all of a sudden you think the world is ending, then yeah, it does suck for those two women. I agree, Creamy. I mean, but it's not enough to scare people away. Neither is the mental thing, because so many people on these medications. Like, a certain amount of these people that are on these medications are going to have heart attacks. A certain amount of them are going to get in a car accident. A certain amount of them are going to, go to McDonald's for lunch. Like, this isn't just because somebody on this medication is struggling with something doesn't mean that it's because of the medication. Now, does that mean we just brush it off? No, but it's also not a reason to get crazy, to get super rhetorical. So anyway, that's what I got about fake news this week. Thimby said, I've seen the gastroparesis thing on every single site. Meanwhile, they admitted aliens exist and are worried about my weight loss journey. Yeah, like, and I'm so glad you said that, Themby, because legitimately there was a congressional hearing where somebody very high up in the military said we have alien beings. And yeah, but this is the stuff people are clicking on. Insane. We live in an insane world. We absolutely do. Brian, you found me on TikTok yesterday. Hey, it's good to have the TikTokians over here. Thank you for being here. Hey, if you're here, we're going to pause before we bring BJ Davis into the stream, because we got BJ Davis here, which is very exciting. I think that's why a lot of you are here tonight. But before we do, we're going to hit that like button, and we're going to tell the algorithm that this is worth watching. Bonus points for those of you who share this stream somewhere. I would greatly appreciate it if you would do that. So thank you very much for those of you who are already subscribed. I think most of you here are probably already subscribed. I think most of you are actually members of the channel. So thank you very much for those of you. Yes, he said non-human remains from a UFO. And I think there's a lot of people that have, known that for a long time, but, they've been considered crazy. So interesting stuff. If I had another channel, it could be all about that kind of stuff. I get way into it. Couldn't it, Chrissy? Chrissy's laughing. So yeah. So much talking. All right. BB, welcome. Are you from over on TikTok too? I don't recognize the name. This medication is a miracle, and I'm thankful I'm going to increase to 12 milligrams. Awesome. Vanessa said, my PCP said, so when she was telling me the letters they're getting from insurance, the sicker you are, the more insurance can charge you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, what did Joseph say? Joseph said, shoot, I don't see what Joseph said. What did Joseph say, Sue? I missed it. Mulder tried to tell us for sure. All right. So we got BJ Davis here. BJ Davis. Every week we have some sort of creator comes on. We have medical providers. This week it is the proprietor of the Davis Discord. DavisDiscord.com is where you can find it. It is where the best conversations about GLP-1s happen on the internet. BJ has fast become a friend of mine on this journey. We had a long conversation the other night. He's just a very enjoyable human. I think you'll all love him. He's been on before. Let's welcome him back, as he has this week's
hot channel.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring BJ into the stream. BJ.
Hey, everybody.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. That was an interesting choice of words, saying he's just an interesting human when we were talking about aliens a few seconds ago.
Right. I just wanted to clarify so people didn't get it twisted. How are you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good, but let me apologize up front here if I black out for a few seconds. I have just recently installed a new satellite system so I can get decent internet coverage, but every 5 minutes I have an interruption, so please bear with me.
Every now and again, the aliens fly by and interrupt the stream.
Well, you weren't supposed to tell people that.
Oh, shoot. Just proceed as normal. Everything is normal. So you're cool with sticking around and taking some phone calls?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So we're going to roll that 1833 Tirzepatide is how you can get on the moon and you can talk to BJ. I know that of all of you in the stream tonight, many of you are proprietors of the Davis Discord. If the Discord has been a help for you tonight. I think you should call in and let BJ know, because I know for me, the BJ has been a huge blessing to me, but the BJ Discord, the Davis Discord, has been a huge blessing to me too. And I know we all kind of tap into it at different times in our journey. There's just such a wealth of information there. I think of Michelle Hess, who is a moderator here, who's there and a moderator there as well. And she's full of information. I think of Melissa. I think of just so many people over there. And not to mention the creators like Mimi, who's over there, Fat Guy No More, Ken Lee. There's just so many great people over there, and not to mention BJ himself. So BJ, can you kind of give everyone an update about, what's going on with the Discord, what changes have been made to the Discord, and what should people who are because I feel like what kind of keeps people from going there is it's a brave new world. It's another social media platform that people feel like they have to learn, and it's just a bit intimidating. I know it took me a while to come there for that very reason. Can you kind of speak to that and let people know maybe some of the changes you've done there?
I think it took me about a month to convince you to come over.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it did.
Originally, I started out trying to be a YouTube creator, and I published a number of videos chronicling my weight loss journey. But because of my connectivity issues up here on top of the mountain, I was not able to publish as often as I wanted to. So I started the Discord, and it just really took off, and it attracted a lot of people. It has become a great place for people to gather and discuss things in real time. Lately, though, I've started making some cosmetic changes to it. People may have noticed that already, and added some additional channels. But what people have to look forward to now, I'm trying to make it a centralized clearinghouse. I'm trying to put some automation in where creators that are members of the Discord, when they publish feeds to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, I'm working on a method where I will go out there and capture those and automatically post notices to the Discord, whereas now the creators are having to post those notices themselves to add some automations. I'm also working on a news feed to follow articles like Eli Lilly when they have, some results listed or published that you just described. I'm just trying to make it appealing to users of Mounjaro, or not just Mounjaro, but any type of injectable weight loss medication, hence the name change a few months ago. And there's actually a video I published about 3 months ago detailing some of those changes. But I'm trying to attract creators to it. I'm trying to attract people that are on the pen to it. So it will become a central clearinghouse of information that's available 7/24. And, I notice sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and they're on the Discord talking back and forth. So, it's a great communication method as far as I can see so far. And I hope the people in your viewing audience will agree with that.
I think they do, BJ. I think a lot of people, I've been talking about your Discord since the day that I got there and really started finding value, because even before you did the work to organize the information, there's so many people there. There's so much information that is exchanged there. And really a lot of it was the driving force behind a lot of the content that I decided to create early on. It's like, man, I need to be making videos about the conversations that we're having here, about the things that we're covering. And so even before you made that information more streamlined, which you have, there's really, so if you don't know Discord, it's just a big chat room. It's literally not much fancier than a chat room that you would have been in 1997. But what you do get is you get the ability to share media, share links, and everything on the left-hand side is organized in tabs, just kind of like your computer in Windows. Like here's the tab that covers this, and this. And it's very organized, very neat. I know that Joe, I don't know that Joe's there anymore, but Joe Crypto Utility, who's often—
He was a big help.
He helped do a lot of that, being a Discord aficionado. And so it's just a great place to be, a great place. It literally is, when I say the best GLP-1 conversations on the internet happen at davisdiscord.com. It's a genuine statement. And this is coming from somebody who has his own website, and I have a Facebook group, but the best conversations happen at Davis Discord. So thank you for creating it, and even more so for curating it and continuing to want to make it better. So this is your chance here, folks who are in the chat, to just check out davisdiscord.com and just give us a join over there and join the conversation. So thank you,
It's just
BJ.
referred to as a chat room on steroids.
A chat room on steroids. I like it. So BJ, let's talk a little bit about your journey. First of all, you look great.
Thank you.
I mean, you looked great before. You posted a picture. I'm going to post this show everyone this picture that you shared in the Discord today. You know, if I do say so myself, a pretty good looking guy with the weight and without the weight. But we've got. Sorry, I got to click that again. So when BJ started, tell everybody about where you started and where you're at now, weight wise.
July 19th, 2022, the doctor prescribed it for me, and I took my first injection. Last week was exactly 1 year, and I lost on the 1 year anniversary 130 pounds. Well, here a week later, I'm down to lost 134 pounds now, and I am below 270 for the first time since I was in my 20s.
Wow.
And I started at 403. So I cannot sing the praises of Mounjaro high enough. It's been a godsend to me.
I am so thrilled for you, BJ. I'm so, way to get your life back. And I know that, you are one who is facing, not a type 2 diabetic. So you're kind of under this pressure of, the potential to lose access to your Mounjaro. I know you've got some to get you by, and you've got a surgery coming up. Can you just share a little bit about, what you've got coming in the future with your Mounjaro plans, what you've got health wise, and then what your plans are from there?
Well, I'm going to have to come off Mounjaro for 2 weeks to prep for the surgery because of something you were discussing earlier to prevent aspiration when you're under anesthesia. But one thing, the type of surgery that I'm having for my hip replacement is an approach, they call it the anterior approach, where I'm going to check in the morning, and by lunchtime, he says, I'll be home. It's just be a very simple procedure. But the doctor wanted me to get below 270 in order to make it a safe surgery. So I was able to accomplish that. The actual process itself, though, as far as taking the Mounjaro, cutting it off on the 8th, so I'll be off for the full 2 weeks. That's going to give me a cushion to continue taking it on into September. I've got 3 syringes left of the 15. I've had an order in with our pharmacy for almost a month now. They tell me when it comes in, I'll get it for the $25 because I had the order placed before the deadline. I'll keep my fingers crossed that actually happens. And then I've got a box of 7.5 left over from when I titrated up a dose. So I believe I've got enough to carry me through September. After that, I'm going to be looking at compound with a lot of information that Michelle's put together and you've shared on your channel. I don't want ever not to be without some sort of GLP-1 medication because I know once I go off it, I probably is going to come back. And right now, I mean, I don't really know what it is to have an appetite. As I've said many times, eating for the past year has almost become optional. The best program I've been on, calorie counting, no portion control. You're hungry, you eat, but rarely do you get hungry.
That's awesome. And I'm glad you got a little padding to get through, and honestly, the surgery that you're going to have is largely thanks to Mounjaro and the progress that you've seen there. You would not have otherwise been able to have this surgery. So congratulations on getting to your goal there. And I'm excited for you to get that new hip. I know, it's just exciting to see. I mean, when I first jumped on here on YouTube, you were the first guy that I saw that was documenting his journey. I ate your videos up. They were so great, and it was so great to follow your journey. And now that we've become friends, I'm just thrilled for you that you are getting your life back, not only from the weight perspective, but without the weight loss, you wouldn't be able to have this hip replacement. And I know how much you love your granddaughter, and I can't remember, do you have more than one? You just have one?
Just one.
Yeah,
she's probably the best part of some of my recent videos.
Yeah, right. Easy clicks on those ones, right? But yeah, I know how much you love your granddaughter and spending time with her, and so you're getting your life back in that way, and I'm so thrilled for you. So let's just talk a little bit about, like, let's say we fast forward to the end of the year. When you're towards the end of the year, when you're out of Mounjaro, what is the next move? Are you talking to your doctor about Wegovy or Saxenda, or, what way are you kind of leaning right now? Or are you hoping that Mounjaro has that indication you're able to get on a coupon or something?
Well, I always prefer to be on Mounjaro. That is probably going to be the best solution for any of us going forward. But as I mentioned, I will look at the compounding approach. If I have to, I'll just, pay the price for it, because it would be, after coming this far, it would be a shame to go back the other way. And just hearing, what you reported earlier, how many people regain the weight after they go off the GLP medication. That's just something I can't.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, it's great to have the information, but it's almost kind of frustrating to hear, because it's, ideally you'd hear that you lose the weight, the medication would help you lose the weight, then you'd get off the medication and you'd just be able to maintain through diet and exercise. But I think what's become very clear in these clinical trials, and it's job security for everybody at Lilly. But these staying on these medications is pretty important. And I don't see it as some big conspiracy where big pharma has designed these to be that way. I just think, again, obesity is a chronic illness, and obesity causes dysregulation in your hormones that have to be treated, both with lifestyle intervention, sometimes mental, the mental side of it, intervention there, and then of course with the biological intervention as well. It's just a multifaceted approach to overcome a multifaceted disease. And
those of those that have benefited from it, we understand that. It's just a shame that the management teams at the insurance companies don't understand that yet. Right.
It's a tough one, and they're in a tough spot too, because all of a sudden there's this influx of people wanting to be on a $1,500 a month medication that didn't exist before, and trying to manage all that too. So not that I feel bad for them in any way, shape, or form, but it just creates kind of the perfect storm where ultimately we get stuck in the middle of it, just like it seems to be. Well, I want to open the phone lines up to 1-833-TIRZEPA. If you have benefited from BJ's videos, if you have benefited from the Discord, or if you have anything to share at all tonight, we would love to hear from you at 1-833-TIRZEPA. If you'd like to call in, we would love to hear from you. BJ, so tell us a little bit about your upcoming surgery. Like, I've heard anecdotally that hip replacements have become not quite as bad as they sound on the surface, so that you recover pretty quickly from them. And is that what you're hearing too? Are you nervous, or how you feeling?
Obviously I'm nervous. I mean, it's still surgery. You still go through anesthesia. I met with the surgeon already. He seems very competent. Now I'm going to Asheville for the surgery. I'm not having it done in the small town that we live here in Western North Carolina. Had the telephone call with the anesthesiologist yesterday, and they told me how I'd be prepped for it. And they told me about the shot they'd be giving my spine. And, once they described that to me, all of a sudden my hip started feeling better. I think maybe I don't need this surgery. They will give me a shot. So
you came home, your stuff, and you told your wife, "I'm healed. I'm healed."
Yeah,
it's a miracle.
I told Carol that. She said it don't work that way. But
yeah.
Surgery's at 9:00 in the morning. I'm there at 7. They'll start prepping me. They'll give me I guess it's the nerve block, with the injection in the spine, and I'll be put under anesthesia, but it's very light anesthesia, and the process is where they come in from the front. There's probably some YouTube videos that show how it takes place. I've watched them. And the whole process is probably less than half an hour. And then you're on recovery. And the surgeon says if all goes well, they'll get me up walking right away and test me out on steps. And they won't let me walk out of the hospital. They'll wheel me out in a wheelchair, but I'll be able to just get out of the wheelchair and get in the car and go home. I mean, it's
incredible.
It's supposedly a lot less painful or troublesome than the knee surgery would be.
Yeah, that's good. it's just interesting where a couple of these conversations have gone the last week. Last week with Bourbon RX, we had Bourbon RX on from over on TikTok, and he's a medical provider. We ended up talking about bowel movements and pelvic floors. And then this week we're talking about hip surgeries. So, it's just interesting, these GLP-1s really open the door for people health-wise. And it's about more than just the weight loss. It's about, like for you being able to have that surgery that you need to have. It's about those who are struggling from, different ailments or comorbidities that come along with being obese and being able to get relief from those as well. So it's just, it's exciting to hear about people that are just getting relief and a frustrating time equally because so many have lost access. So I hope those of you who are in the stream now who are losing access will consider the link at the bottom of the description of this video where you can look at the clinical trials that are going on for Tirzepatide right now, that you'll look into things like Push Health or Join Mochi or IVM Health or Great Scott was in here earlier. I can't remember what the name of his business is down in Kansas City, Health Innovations, I think. Some of these trustworthy doctors that can get you connected to a compounding pharmacy where you have the potential to get on a compounded version of the active ingredients of these medications. Just there's plenty of options right now, and we look forward to a day when A, Mounjaro is approved for weight loss, and B, semaglutide liraglutide, which is Saxenda and Victoza, is actually off patent now, but when it's available in its generic form. So
interesting story about being able to obtain the compounded medication. Living here in North Carolina, I've already spoken to 3 different compounded pharmacies that will ship it to you. They won't ship to North Carolina. The North Carolina Pharmaceutical Board won't allow it unless there's a shortage. But by the time you get the word out that there's a shortage and then get them to ship it to you, maybe the shortage is over with. But as you and I discussed, North Carolina probably has a vested interest in doing what Eli Lilly wants them to do because of the major manufacturing facilities that are located
Perhaps. There. Yep. One of the interesting things that I've heard, so people often ask me, BJ, they say, so what's going on with the shortages with Lilly? What's going on with the shortages with Novo Nordisk? And I think, one of the interesting things about Eli Lilly is that they're opening up plants left and right. And they have basically said that by the end of the year, they will basically have doubled their manufacturing capacity. And one of the things that was interesting that was shared with me recently from Bourbon RX via one of their Lilly reps is that as they're bringing their plants online, I think it's in Concord, North Carolina, as they're bringing their plants online, instead of opening the whole factory at once, the FDA is allowing them to bring one manufacturing assembly line on at a time as it gets approved. So presumably there are multiple lines, right? And so they're increasing their manufacturing incrementally as these plants get done. They don't have to wait for the whole thing to get done. And I think that's really fascinating. It just goes to show the level of planning that they've done to try to keep up with demand. And I know that people are like, these are billion-dollar companies. Why can't they figure out that people are going to want these medications? But I honestly don't think that they ever foresaw the way that these would take off from a virality standpoint on TikTok, on YouTube, on, fill in the blank social media. And I mean, who would have imagined that people like me would be investing a good part of their life in just creating content that's basically a commercial that's basically a commercial for a product. But how can you not when it's changing your life in the way that it is?
Perhaps Eli Lilly should put you on the payroll. You've actually done a lot to publicize and get the word out to people.
All of us, right? I mean, we are brand ambassadors in a way for a company, and we'll never see a dime for it. But that's okay, because the medicine and that's why I'm not quick to villainize them when there's shortages or about how much they charge. It's like the medicine that they're putting out changes my life. And so I know that somebody told me a stat recently that it costs billions of dollars to produce a drug, and only 1 out of about every 11 drugs that a manufacturer puts through clinical trials actually makes it to the market. So you're paying for the research and development, not only of Mounjaro, but for the other 10 medications before it that just didn't make it. So the research and development that happens is just amazing. And it's taken years and years and years to get to this point. And I'm so grateful to have the privilege to have this pen in my hand that's fixing what's metabolically broken, that's helping me lose weight, and more importantly, controlling my type 2 diabetes.
Well, it's really, I've dubbed it miracle medicine before, but I think if we're patient, and even if we have to go off for a while, I think Eli Lilly has some even more medications in their pipeline that's going to be better than Mounjaro.
Yeah, that's like Retatrutide or Forglipron, which is a oral. I think that's very, very, very interesting. Sounds like we got a caller. You can send him over, Chrissy, whenever you're ready. Hopefully, I have everything turned on here. While I'm waiting there, I think I just missed it because I think I have my ringer out. Sorry about that, Chris. Cheryl said she saw a YouTube story of a lady living with stage 4 cancer, and through exploring Eastern and Western meds, she's now teaching the cancer connection to insulin and glucose. She uses the Keto Mojo to monitor her blood. So it's interesting that you say that, Cheryl. When I started my diabetes journey, I both monitored my glucose and my ketones, and Keto Mojo is a great tool. So if you're on keto, I would strongly recommend that you go to onthepen.com, and there's a tab at the top that says shop. If you click that, it takes you to this shop that I've curated a diabetes list, a GLP-1 list of just all the Amazon products that I use. Keto Mojo is one of them. And so it works just like a glucose monitor, but it tests your blood ketones. And so if you're doing a ketogenic diet, and there are some studies that show that keto can be beneficial in reducing the growth rate of cancer cells and things like that. So it's interesting research that we'll definitely continue to monitor and keep an eye on. But that Keto Mojo is a good product. You can find the link to the description under the shop tab on onthepen.com. So yeah, good information there. Let's see.
And I've heard that sugar might be one of the largest causes of cancer in our society.
Yeah, and I think, ultimately the standard American diet does not help. So I think that's, a big challenge is we're consuming all these carbohydrates, processed foods. Our body doesn't really know what to do with them. And ultimately this stuff all gets converted to sugar in our bloodstream anyway, so we require a ton of insulin. I kind of got into this earlier on the stream. Looks like we got a caller here, but I got earlier on the stream, I got into the insulin levels and how it's very difficult to lose weight when you have high levels of insulin. And even though you're not diabetic, that doesn't mean that you're not producing gobs of insulin to not be diabetic. And I think that's important for people to know. Hey, who do we got here?
Hey, buddy, it's Sue.
Sue the dude. Welcome to the
Sue.
stream, buddy.
Thank you. Hey, BJ, hope you're doing good.
Doing good. I hope you are as well.
Listen, I wanted to ask you, do you think that the delays in getting the 15, the 10, the 12, and 5, is it all just due to the coupon ending, or do you think some of that is that more people are actually continuing on their Mounjaro journey even after the $25 coupon expires? What's your read on that?
I think what's happened is there's so many people that, such as myself, that's been on it, several months now. In my case, I've been on it a year this month. And they've steadily titrated up because we had shortages on the smaller doses a few months ago. And it seems like it's like a rolling pattern or dominoes falling down. As people are titrating up to the higher level, there's more demand for it, and there's a shortage of it. I don't think it has anything to do with the coupon.
So, see, I always wondered whether or not when the $25 coupon ended, and I'm like you, I'm still waiting for my last shipment of under the $25 coupon. But I always expected that there to be a major drop-off in users and therefore a larger supply of Mounjaro waiting for us. Like, I'm wondering if this is the last hiccup where people are getting that last $25 dose? Or do you think it's a sign that people are going to continue with Mounjaro anyhow without the $25 coupon? Like either they're going to pay $500 or maybe they found a way for insurance to pay for it. Because I'm hoping that more people are able to. I mean, I hope the shortage is due to usage, not just to a one-term hit because of the coupons expiring.
My personal belief, I believe people who have taken it and benefited from it and had the results such as so many of us have, they will find a way to continue it. And whether it's with the new coupon or whether they come up with a way to pay full price or they convince their employer to have it covered underneath their insurance plan or some sort of compounded solution, they will find a way to stay on GLP-1 medications because there's been so many people come so far with so much weight loss. I mean, it would be a major blow to Eli Lilly a year from now to hear that everybody who had lost weight has gained it back. I think those people will find some way to do it. And I keep hoping that Eli Lilly is going to come up with some sort of incentive or some sort of financial assistance program for those that can't afford to pay full price.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of medications that companies do that already for medications.
So Novo Nordisk has something similar to that where it's an income-based thing. And I think just to kind of give my 10 cents on what you're saying, Sue, I have quite a few followers now between YouTube and TikTok. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard I'm taking a second job so I can afford my Mounjaro. I mean, how many times have you heard that on any other drug? I've heard people with cancer like, well, I can't afford my medication, so I'm going to Mexico or I'm, whatever. Like, and granted, those medications are probably a lot more expensive than this. But my point is, like, I've never heard of people taking another job to stay on a medication. Like, I think you're right in that. I think there are probably more people than Lilly would have expected. And they've tipped their hat to this in the conference calls. Like, they're shocked at how many people are willing to pay full retail to stay on Mounjaro off label. And that's incredible. Or even without, just as a single payer, without insurance coverage. So a great point to bring up, Sue, for sure. I think that's impacting things a little bit more than Lilly thought. I also think that, with social media, with all the accounts, and this has kind of been an eye opener for me being over on TikTok and just seeing how many people are on TikTok that are on Mounjaro. I think word got around pretty darn quick, like fill your 3-month supply at the end of June. And I think that created a lot of chaos for the month of July for Eli Lilly. And so I think this has been my hypothesis, is that they should be able to iron this thing out pretty well until the FDA approval for weight loss comes along. They have to, because the FDA does not take kindly to approving a medication for another indication if that company hasn't already demonstrated that they can't keep up with demand for the current indication. So, they're going to have to, in order to, you and I, and BJ uniquely, I think we're kind of like, we follow the business side of this enough to know that Eli Lilly, and BJ can speak to this too, like Eli Lilly is a highly valued company who has hinged all of their future success, near-term future success, on the success of Mounjaro. And so they cannot afford to not get this weight loss indication. Even though there's a lot of insurances that don't cover obesity medicine, mine included, there's enough that they're relying on it to drive the near-term profits of Eli Lilly. You have anything to say about that, Sue or BJ?
Well, if you look at their PE ratio, and I like to dabble in the stock market, but they're trading at about 54 times.
Hey, hold on, BJ. For those who are watching who don't know about all this, tell them what PE means.
Your price earnings ratio. Their stock price is trading at about 54 to 55 times what their earnings are, which means the investors
Just let that
The
marinate
invest-
for a little bit. Let that marinate, people in the chat. For those of you who don't follow this stuff, let that fact marinate for a little bit. Say that one more time.
Their price is about 55 times what their actual earnings per share are.
The price
Which is
to
unheard
purchase Eli Lilly's stock right now is about 55 times what their earnings are per share. That's insane. And that goes to show you, and it continues to hang out there. So that shows you they and their investors have hinged everything on the success of Mounjaro. That is why you see all of these plants coming online. That is why I think they will get this thing ironed out, because they have to get this indication for weight loss, and it has to be this year. That's why they use their FDA fast track. I can't remember what they call it, but there's a fast track voucher that they can use with the FDA that says, hey, fast track this medication. And they used it on Mounjaro for the weight loss indication. So it speeds a process that's supposed to take, I don't know, like 12 months or 16 months or 18 months into like a 3 or 4 month period.
But Dave, did you say that the FDA would not want to authorize the medication for obesity if Eli Lilly cannot keep up enough supply for diabetics?
They don't like, typically, historically, the FDA does not like to approve a medication for a second indication. Oh, I got to hold this down. If the manufacturer of the medication cannot demonstrate that they can't keep up with current demand with the initial indication.
They're not going to be able to, buddy. Listen, let me tell you, they are not going to be able to keep with production. If they, because I think that people are going to continue to use this, which surprised me. I expected a drop off, and you cited a study where I think it was like only 20% of the people that took a GLP were on it a year from now. I think this what it said. I don't believe that. I think, getting what the BJ said, I think there are people that are saying, look, and what you said, I'm going to find a way to continue on with this medication.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are. There's a lot of people who aren't that fortunate financially to be able to do that, even with a second job. But I think there are enough where I think what you're saying is valid. But I also think that, we can't underestimate, what's going on to bring this medication online. And, the FDA, so this, one of the other pieces of news this week, BJ and Sue, is that the World Health Organization declined to add any GLP-1 or declined to add obesity medications to their list of necessary medications, right? But that's not the FDA's stance. That's not our stance in America. Well, perhaps because obesity is a unique challenge in the United States, right? So I think, to paint it with a broad brush and say the FDA doesn't like to do it and say that absolutely applies here. Yeah, I don't know, because it is a priority of theirs. And I think you see that in the FDA working so closely with Lilly on letting these factories come on line by line, right?
Yeah.
But I think your point is valid. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
But there's this tension. It's just like the in the UK, they cited this suicide study to stop approving Wegovy and Ozempic. I think there is such tension between approval and the people that want it, and then the cost, that I think we're going to see some ugly battles. Listen, if I may, I'd like to ask BJ, in 2 years, use your crystal ball, where are we going to be as far as paying what is Mounjaro going to cost? Will insurance cover it? Will Medicare cover it? Medicaid? What will the landscape look like in 2 years from now?
Now, this is an opinion, so let me get that out as a disclaimer. I think a lot is going to be hinged on when they do get final approval for weight loss and doctors are able to prescribe it to their obese patients without having to maybe say they're diabetic and they're not. Pharmacies will fill it without having a type 2 diabetes, diagnosis. Once it's officially available for those that are obese, and I'm not talking about losing 10 or 15 pounds. I'm talking about someone like me that needed to lose 150 pounds. I think they will see such amazing results that it's going to force their hand. I believe, these employers that, boast, well, we have this wellness program, they'll be forced to pay it because, if they'll pay, what the cost is for their employee to take a once a, week shot that's maybe $1,000 or hopefully less than that a month, look at how much money they're going to save in the long run. Look how much money the medical industry is going to sell, or, health industry is going to save in the long run. I think that someone is going to say, this has been on the market for a year just to treat obesity only, not, people that are taking it off label. This is the results that we see. This is our cost for people that, have complications from being obese. This is how much it costs helps those people that are obese to get to a normal weight. I think it's going to be economies of scale. I think that Mounjaro later this year, when it's approved for weight loss, that's when the trial will really begin. That's when, the insurance companies will have to be, they're going to have to provide good reason why they don't cover it. That's just my opinion.
So if I can interject here just for 1 second, I think, my own personal take on this, having looked really, really closely at the medicines that Eli Lilly has in the pipeline. So this all comes down to me, Sue. This all comes down to the timeline of Retatrutide, to say it in Eli Lilly's language, or Retatrutide, or even orforglipron, which is their small molecule that can't be duped. Like you're not going to be able to get compounded orforglipron like you can semaglutide or tirzepatide. It's an oral small molecule. It's not a polypeptide. It'll be the first of its kind. But my point here, gentlemen, is that the timelines for those, like, they have to make up a lot of profit on Mounjaro in the next year and a half. In other words, before Retatrutide hits the market, because Retatrutide is going to put Mounjaro in the dustbin of history, because Retatrutide's what is being accomplished in these clinical trials with Retatrutide. Now, I'll say the asterisk on that is the heart issues, but I think the heart issues can be managed because I think they're more related to the rapid weight loss. But Retatrutide outperforms Mounjaro in the weight loss study, and it's close enough in the glucose control that I don't see, I see a short shelf life for Mounjaro's utility. You look at Trulicity, right? Trulicity is right now Trulicity is to Mounjaro as Mounjaro will be to Retatrutide, and people scoff at Trulicity right now.
Well, let me ask you: would you throw Wegovy and Ozempic as being on the endangered list too? And BJ, would you agree with what he said? I mean, is Novo Nordisk looking to like major losses?
I missed part of that because there was a satellite.
So BJ, what he's asking is, does this, based upon what I just said, do you think that this poses a major risk to Novo Nordisk and semaglutide?
I think that the Tirzepatide medication, Mounjaro, is going to take over the market. I think Eli Lilly is going to have the market for obesity once it gets approval later this year. I missed part of what you said in your response, but I don't think that the others are going. I don't think the others are going to be able to catch up.
Is it in a vulnerable situation?
Oh yeah, 100%. He said, BJ, he said Novo Nordisk is in a vulnerable situation. But the other thing so Novo Nordisk's biggest issue right now is their supply chain, because right now is when they need to be capitalizing on Wegovy. They're losing Saxenda. So what they do, they're losing Saxenda, but because it's not in available on the market as a generic at this point, they're taking away the savings card for that. So they're making it harder for those who did have a hope to stay on a GLP-1. It was Saxenda, and they've taken away the savings card for that. Now Novo does have the income-based thing, but I think they're losing out big time, and it's because they're so, and again, this is the manufacturing part of me. I come from a manufacturing background. They're so reliant on third-party vendors to get their product to market, where Lilly is not. Yeah. And Lilly is hedging in a really, really big way to not be. So yeah, Novo's in a bad spot. They do have CagriSema, right? So it's a combination of two medicines that does show promise, but not in the way that, I mean, Lilly has got this on lockdown with Retatrutide. They really do. Somebody in the chat,
and their own manufacturing. I did not know that.
And my guess is, another thing, when Novo Nordisk said we're going to brand Wegovy and we're going to brand Ozempic separately and we're going to put them in different pens, they created all sorts of problems for themselves. Lilly put Mounjaro in the same injector pen as they put Trulicity, and I would not be surprised if you see the same with Retatrutide being in the same injector pen as you see Mounjaro, just to streamline the manufacturing, because everything is so happening so fast. And you see with the incorporation of Lilly's incorporating now artificial intelligence companies to like fast track the development of these peptides, to even hone them in even closer. So this is all going to happen in rapid speed. They have to, from a manufacturing standpoint, they have to have their act together. One thing, guys, that somebody put, Matthew said, Retatrutide might not get type 2 approval for obesity because it raises glucose. Now, I would take a little bit of umbrage for that. Sorry, I'm going to cycle through this. It's fatty liver reduction. Nope. I'm trying to see if I have a slide in here about A1C. Oh, I think it was this one. Sorry. So in the phase 2 obesity trial with Retatrutide, obviously they didn't. A1C was down 0.5%. So yeah, I mean, and we've been saying this, that the A1C control is not as good with Retatrutide as it is with Tirzepatide, but I don't think that keeps it from getting the weight loss indication. For those who getting that A1C down is super important. The thing is, with weight loss coming down, the A1C tends to regulate itself because your body doesn't need as much insulin as well. But we shall see. It's a good point to bring up, though, Matthew.
That is a good point. Listen, I'm gonna bounce off and listen to you live. BJ, thanks for answering my question.
I hope I brought some benefit.
Yeah, Sue, thanks for calling in, buddy. It's good to hear from you.
Okay, see you guys. Thank you.
Bye, Sue.
See you. Thanks, bud.
Sue the Dude, one of our favorite callers in here on the moon. Thank you for calling in, Sue. It's a pleasure to hear from you. Donna says FDA requires low-income programs. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. I don't know what Lilly has right now. I've never seen it, but yeah, so interesting. It always goes an interesting route with Sue for sure. So thank you, Sue, for calling in. So if anybody has anything else for BJ, 1-833 Tirzepa, we're going to probably wrap it up here. BJ, do you have anything else that you wanted to share tonight?
Well, I'm hoping that Eli Lilly is going to come up with some way to make this affordable for people going forward. I think that maybe not the month of July because of the shortage, but the month of August, you're going to have a lot of people that don't have access to their medicine. And I just can't think that Eli Lilly is going to take a PR risk like that. I really think that they're going to come up with something. That's just my personal belief.
What do you think about this? So I'm just making this connection in my head right this second as you're saying that. What if their move to make all insulin $35 was their way, from a PR perspective, to hedge against the fact that they will not do that with Mounjaro?
I think they did that ahead of time instead of being regulated or having the government, force them to do that because the insulin was so much cheaper in other countries. I think that was a move they made to, I don't know what the terminology is I'm looking for, but, I think they would have done that under a regulatory burden, but they went ahead and did it voluntarily.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Again, personal opinion.
And there was a lot of lawsuits around that too. So very interesting. Anything else that you'd like to share tonight, BJ?
Well, I appreciate you having me on board, and I hope you invite me back now that I have enough bandwidth to actually carry a conversation without it dropping off like that it used to. Please, if you haven't visited or joined the Discord, please take the opportunity to do that this evening. If you have any questions, my contact information is on there. Send me a direct message.
Yeah. So BJ Davis's Discord, which I have referenced probably now, I'm going to say 100 times at least on this channel, is davisdiscord.com, where the best conversations happen about GLP-1 medications on the whole internet. There are and really it's because of the people. It's because of the people that are there. BJ has created something wonderful over there with davisdiscord.com. The link is in the description of this video, but also on thepen.com. So if you go to onthepen.com, there's the social icons. One of them is the Discord icon. You can click that and get it there as well. So visit onthepen.com. Also, while you're there, check out blog articles. All of my videos are over there, so check that out as well. BJ, it was a pleasure having you tonight. Before we let you go, Mimi would like to know, are you going to be creating more videos now that you have better internet?
I hope to be doing that. Absolutely. This has been a good trial run. I hope that the quality of the audio and video has been okay for everybody.
It's been good on my end. So it's been a pleasure to have you. And even if we had to deal with choppy BJ is better than no BJ at all. So pleasure to have you here tonight, buddy. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
All right. BJ Davis, everyone. What a guy. What a guy. I mean, it has been, I've met many friends along the way on this journey, and it has been a pleasure to get to know BJ Davis of davisdiscord.com. I can say it again, davisdiscord.com. I know that most everybody here in this chat is a part of davisdiscord.com, but I cannot tell you enough what value it's been to me on my personal journey, both as a type 2 diabetic and Mounjaro user, but also as a content creator. It's just been a wealth of information. And I can't mention the Davis Discord without mentioning Michelle Hess, who's a moderator here. She can't be here tonight, but she is such a wonderful addition to the Discord, full of information, a great moderator here as well. And so I appreciate those of you who have joined tonight that are here, that are new, because it seems like we've got a lot of new people in the chat tonight. So thank you for those of you who have come over from TikTok, especially. I've spent a lot of time going live over there saying, join on the Pen Live on Thursday nights. You're not going to regret it. So I hope that you haven't. If you are in the chat now, we are going to take a poll. Okay. We're going to, Kelly Simmons, Dink Donk, Dink. What? Welcome to the stream. It's been a minute. Thank you for all that you and BJ are doing for this community. Thank you, Kelly, for being here. Appreciate you. If you would like to hear a quick update from Chrissy, the girl on the Wegovy, I'm going to need to hear it in the chat. And I'm going to need to hear it loud. Because we're at a minute or an hour and 24 minutes here. And we've got Chrissy. And she said that she's willing to come on, but she's only willing to come on if the chat just gets absolutely lit about Chrissy coming on. So let's hear it. I'm waiting. Kelly, yes. Matthew, yes. Dink, heck yeah. Let's go, Chrissy. Governor, yes, sure. All right. Kind of a half-arsed answer, but we'll take it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Creamy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got the emojis. Oh, yes. Awesome. So, Chrissy, are you going to give the people what they want? Chrissy's going to give the people what they want. And for the first time, and I want to say the first time in months, I'm going to say like a month and a half at a minimum, we're going to roll the bumper. Girl on the Wegovy. Chrissy, welcome to the stream.
Such a creepy voice.
Yeah, Yeah. Okay. So I did a short video this week. It was a TikTok video of a 15 milligram pen, and like it was like a 15 milligram pen with my eyes and my face. You know, one of those with just my eyeballs in my mouth. Did you see that?
I did.
So like half of the comments were like, "That was really creepy, and I don't know why, but I liked it."
Creepy Dave
Gotta
is
bust out
better
creepy
than no
voice.
Dave.
Hey, there you go. Just like choppy BJ is better than no BJ.
Right.
And some
Well,
Chrissy
like-
is better than no Chrissy, and we've had no Chrissy for a while. How are you?
I'm good. I'm busy. It's summer, and summer is crazy.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's been for me too. I was just telling, I did a members only live before we came on here, and I was like, I just question it every week if this is worth it in the summertime, because the summertime is so busy.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to
I'm
try
glad
to
you-
use my AirPod because you're going to hear my dog.
All good. They don't mind the dog. So tell us about how things are going. Like, you started a YouTube channel, which is just like her name over there at Chrysanthemum. So follow her over there.
Started it,
Yeah, but then
and
but the
someday
summit-
I should continue it.
Oh, I think the people love it. I mean, we got to keep putting content there. It took me like 300 videos to get to where I'm at now, but
Yeah.
it's a slow burn over here on YouTube, but it's so worth it because you develop such a wonderful community. I mean, just look at the people in. Oh, Donna, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That is so kind of you. But yeah, it's a slow burn.
Also, I want to say thank you to everyone who actually wanted to see my face today.
Which was a lot of people.
It was.
Yeah.
Ah, I missed this. Like, it was my weekly energy boost.
It's so fun, isn't it? It is an energy boost. I tell Jenny the same thing. I'm like, I get something from it. Hey, Justin Prothus. Good to have you here. Donna, thank you so much for the super sticker. That's so sweet of you. And now you've usurped Sue, so you get to choose. And I think, Donna, actually you won last week. So you get a double choose where this goes this
It's
week.
so nice.
She had logged off, I think, by the time I got to taking it.
It's so nice to see you only have to inject yourself once.
Yes, it is nice. Although they're out of 10s now. I have like 4 5s that I could fill, so I could do 2 5s. But you know who
just
you
give
know who
them
this
to me.
channel has
I'm
been
getting a
missing?
little FOMO here.
No kidding. This channel has been missing. Mia said new and love the vibe. I'm on MJ. Awesome. Welcome to the stream, Mia. Good to have you here. So thigh. She says, okay, thigh. I wanted the thigh this week, so thank you, Donna. That sounded weird. Mia. Oh yeah, Dink says I'm a little behind. Is there a shortage of 10? Yeah, there is till like September. Okay, so Cheryl said, are you two still losing? So I want to go back. I'm going to pin that comment because I want to come back to that because I think a lot of people are probably dying to hear that. And I'll go first on that because like I titrated back from 15 milligrams. So like the King of the Hill is the 15 milligram dose of Mounjaro, right?
Mhm.
And even though I was stalled for like a couple of months, because when was Easter? April? We did a challenge leading up to that. And that's the last time I really lost weight. And then I titrated back to 12.5 because of the headaches. The 12.5 didn't take care of my headaches. So then I went back to 5 milligrams. And then from 5 milligrams, I went up to 7.5 and I was there for 2 months. In that 3-month period, I didn't lose anything. In fact, during the 5, I gained like 8 pounds. And then the 7.5, I kind of slowly came back down. So right now I'm sitting right at about 280, which is like a couple pounds higher than I was at my very lowest. But the 10 milligram, I can definitely say I've been eating less and I'm antsy to get back up to the 15. It's just I don't want the migraines. So that's where I'm at on my weight loss now. But my blood glucose is a lot better now that I'm on the 10. And I'm non-diabetic per my numbers on my last lab. So, and
That's awesome.
That was even on the lower doses. So when I was at peak 15 after 3 months, I bet I was in the 4s from a blood sugar standpoint. So
Nice.
how about you? How's
the weather in my neck of the woods?
Yeah.
Al. Isn't that Al Roker?
Yeah. In your neck of the woods.
Here's the weather in your neck of the woods. So 3 weeks ago, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago, I texted you a picture of my scale, which was like a 3-pound drop. And
3 pounds is a drop.
right. And after stalling for quite a bit. And so that's all I've lost. I've maintained that, but I feel like clothes are way beyond that. Like,
Yeah.
so we went on vacation that week that I had sent you that photo. And I wore some of the same clothes that I wore on vacation last summer, and they fit way better. But weight-wise, I was within 3 pounds of what I was the summer before, because I had gained most of my weight towards the end of the summer and early fall.
So one of the things that I have to remind myself, Chrissy, and I'm sure that you probably do this too, but like the titrating back to me was a huge frustrating thing, but I couldn't deal with the migraines anymore. And Judy asked me if I've dealt with them before, and I do. Like chronic migraine, I've been dealing with them since I was like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think like what was different is I was getting them like every other day, and so I needed to switch something up, and it did help, right? And then my doctor has, well, I don't even want to get into it. He prescribed me Qsymia, which is like Topamax and Phentermine. And I haven't been taking either. I had to get them separately because I couldn't get Qsymia, and so I haven't even taken a single Topamax yet. But that's supposed to help with migraines, and I need to start taking it probably. But it helped with the migraines to titrate back, but I knew like I'm going to backtrack, and that was frustrating to me. But it was worth it to not have the migraines. I would say like what I had to tell myself over and over for the last like 4 months 4 or 5 months since I stopped losing weight was like, you're not gaining. I'm not gaining. Like, when's the last time I lost 30 pounds and then, like went off program or whatever you want to say, immediately gained it back, and then some. So like by now I should be 40 pounds heavier. I lost 30-ish. Well, I mean, since I started my diabetes journey, I'm down 39 pounds. And so like I'm 39 pounds down still, right? Even though I had to backtrack. So Emgality, I'll have to check that one out. THC helps your headaches. Yeah, I'm not sure THC would be the best solution for me.
Divorce. No, it would not help his headaches.
The divorce.
No, it might help my husband's headaches.
My wife is
definitely not Dave's.
Trust me, Matthew, my wife is the love of my life. If I lost my wife, life would be one bitter, tasteless journey to the end. Oh. And that's all I got to say about the matter. But yeah, the raw almonds help. Yeah, I mean a lot of things. Yeah, I mean really the ultimate thing that helps is like Excedrin. But yeah, THC would be counterproductive to the Mounjaro. I had been there, done that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean in general.
But here's the deal though. If I never lost another pound, but could feel the way I feel today, other than I have been dealing with nausea this week, and I don't know if it's related or not. So, but I did take a Zofran today, but I think it's the heat and the lack of water is probably
nasty.
Yeah. But I don't constantly I worked side by side with a girl that at work that's pregnant, and like all day long, even the doctor was like, all you do is talk about food. And I'm like, I feel like I was that way and I wasn't pregnant. And so the fact that I'm like, we'll figure out dinner. Like half the time I'm like, oh, it's like 7:00. What are we having for dinner?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's just
don't think about it. That's the food noise thing. What dose are you on? The highest dose by now?
I am 2.4.
2.4.
Which my husband just started the 0.25 after having a prescription for about a month.
He got it? He got the 0.25?
He got the 0.25. So
you sent me a picture.
So the minute we had gotten him all enrolled in Amazon Pharmacy because somebody at work told me that's the only place they could get theirs. We got a call from the pharmacy out at Bluebell, and they said it's ready.
Awesome.
So
awesome. Is he doing good?
I don't know. I mean, not like no side effects. Like, I don't know. So I think his problem is he doesn't really eat enough. He doesn't eat a lot. And when he does, it's not what he should eat. So we'll see how this goes. Since I'm, not a health coach anymore, I don't do a lot of coaching.
Take your shot.
Yeah, just take your shot, and like you should probably eat something and not
Protein.
all the sugar.
Yeah. So the best
But
advice.
he does do the protein shakes.
For somebody who's just starting a GLP-1, the best advice that I can give is like have something ready for nausea, especially if it's semaglutide. Have something ready for nausea. Have something ready to replace electrolytes, and emphasize your protein.
The fun thing about Deers is they have Gatorade on tap.
Oh, nice. That's good, especially in the summertime when it's this
right.
nasty.
And he works in the foundry.
Well, I think I appreciate the update, and I think that we should continue to, as you have bandwidth to come on and give updates, we would love to have you. Check out her YouTube page at Chrysanthemom. Check out her Instagram. Your Instagram is Boredom Made Me Do It, right?
That's just my business. I actually have I think it's Missy Chrissy.
Okay. So Chrissy has like a little business that you really should check out. It's called Boredom Made Me Do It. And I give all the call outs for that. Is it Boredom Made Me Do It on TikTok, or is it?
No, TikTok is, I think, Missy Chrissy again. I might have changed it to it's Chrysanthemom, actually.
You should change it to be the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, Boredom Made Me Do It. I mean, just look it up because she's got, it's all like girly stuff, but it's cute. And she's very crafty in that way. So check all that stuff out. But it was a pleasure to have you. I'm glad that you were willing to come on. I'm going to take the shot, and I'm going to give it in the thigh. And D. Janine said, give it to yourself on the inner thigh, which sounded frightening to me, but not that bad.
But I just want everyone to know real fast that I still haven't gotten my steak.
Oh, you haven't? I owe Chrissy a steak. Yes, I do. I completely forgot.
But I kind of don't really care because you learned that you like cottage cheese.
Oh, that
was the big win.
Okay, so yeah, you came on and we had cottage cheese. Did I just completely like forget the fact that we were going to do steaks?
Listen, you are living your best life right now. Summer is hard.
Summer is hard. We're going to have steaks in like the dead of winter. We'll do a video when it's like 30 below. I'll get the Blackstone out. We'll do a
no June bugs.
No June bugs. That is positive. Yeah, that is positive. Yeah, inner thighs. Vanessa said it's the best. Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on here tonight, Chrissy. Thank you for joining. Yeah. I'm gonna say au revoir because we're to like a hour and 40 minutes here. But it's good to see you. Thank you for being willing to come on tonight, and hopefully we'll do it again. No pressure, but whenever you're free to come back on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So check out at Chrysanthemom over here on YouTube. Make sure you give her a follow. Obviously, make sure that you follow BJ Davis and go to his YouTube page at BJ Davis and his Discord, davisdiscord.com. Thank you, BJ, for joining. Thank you, Chrissy, for joining. And we'll catch you next time, Chrissy. All right?
Yep. Have a good one.
See ya. So one of the interesting things that I'm seeing here in the chat is some folks from over on Facebook. Am I there? Am I completely frozen? Did I kill the stream? What did I do? I don't know. If you can still hear me, I'm going to talk. Sandy McGowan Iman said she's new to this live and would like to get some information if Mounjaro would ever be affordable or a coupon that would work. Oh, that is a big question. Send me a private message, Sandy. Send a message to Man on the Mounjaro. I'll try to get to you. So I wanted to just say to those of you who are new tonight, thank you for joining Governor 93. Good to hear from you. It is so good to have been here with all of you tonight. You're all so wonderful. You're the best part of what I do here at Man on the Mounjaro. your why I do it. Thank you for those of you who became members this week. Thank you especially to, who was it? Terrence became a member right before we came on the stream tonight. Thank you for the super chats from Sue. Thank you for the super chat from Donna. Thank you for supporting the channel in that way. It is so it is so helpful to help pay for some of the things like StreamYard that we use to stream this, Canva that I use to make the thumbnails, Grasshopper, which I use to take the phone calls. All of these things cost money. And then there's just my time, and it's a big time commitment. So those of you who contribute in that way, it's super helpful. So thank you very much. The conversation continues at davisdiscord.com. The conversation continues at On the Pen with Man on the Mounjaro Facebook group on YouTube. The conversation continues on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, where I'm at, and you can catch videos throughout the week. But we always do this at 9 p.m. Central Time on Thursday nights, every Thursday night on YouTube. Check it out. We also stream to Twitter and Facebook, so it's good to hear you. Sandy said, "Hear from Facebook. I'm desperate. Sent message to live." Yeah. Okay. So Sandy, bless your heart. We're going to answer your question because it sounds like this is your only way of connecting. So we're going to answer your question. Sandy asked, "I'm new to this live and would like to get some information if Mounjaro would ever be affordable or a coupon that would work." So Sandy, the first question I have for you, sweetheart, is, are you diabetic? If you're diabetic, then it would be good to know, because that really is kind of sets the stage for how I'm going to answer that question. If you're diabetic, there is a coupon currently that you can download from Mounjaro.com. And if you're not comfortable with using the internet that much, just go to your pharmacy. Oh, no diabetic, not diabetic. Okay. So right now, Mounjaro is not approved for weight loss. And so chances are you're going to have to pay full price for it. But Mounjaro will be approved for weight loss at the end of the year. So if you have obesity coverage on your insurance, you will likely be able to get it. There are two drugs that are really good that are available for those who are not diabetic, but who are obese with a BMI over 27. And that is Wegovy and Ozempic. Talk to your doctor about, that's Wegovy and Saxenda. Those are two medicines like Mounjaro. They're incretin, GLP-1 stimulating medications that can help you. Talk to your doctor about Wegovy and Saxenda. And if you have obesity coverage, you should be able to get those cheap. They're very similar to Mounjaro. Wegovy especially did almost as good in the clinical trials as Mounjaro did, and it works very similarly on your body. So ask your doctor about that, and I hope that you get what you're looking for. Sandy, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I've gotten script for Wegovy for $1,200. So there's a coupon available at Wegovy.com, or talk to your pharmacist. They can help you get that coupon too. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being the best part of this stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for joining. We're at an hour and 43 minutes. You all have hung in there tonight. So thank you so much for being the best part of this channel. Thank you all so much. Thank you to BJ for joining tonight. Thank you for Chrissy for being here and moderating. Thank you for Sue for moderating and for calling in. Thank you to Michelle, who's another moderator who couldn't be here because she's moving. Prayers for you as you get that part of your life in your rearview mirror, and I hope you're feeling better. Sandy, talk to your doctor. Your doctor can be your best advocate for you. I hope that y'all have a great night. With that, I'm signing off, and I can't wait to see you all next week for another episode of On the Pen Live. Make sure you like this before you leave. And one more ask that I would have is if you could leave a comment after the live ends, if you could leave a comment just to kind of seed some activity on the live stream, just so more people see it throughout the week, and we will catch you on the next stream.